Well, hello there. Want to watch some anime? Let's watch some anime. So, Solo Leveling. I'm going to watch episode 3 now because the first two episodes have actually intrigued me. And specifically what I talked about at the end. Like, we are at the point now where our hero has finally been left alone in the dungeon. He has been... this is something I thought the show did quite well. Like, he's been the only one to prove his faith in this unpleasant god creature that he has encountered, right? He's proven his faith by remaining behind, right? Like by essentially demonstrating courage, mostly more by accident than by virtue. But like he's demonstrated his faith in the god by staying until the timer runs out, right? And I wonder if they had all stayed until the timer ran out. If not, they had all acquired that same reward. But he has done this, and now he's about to become, the super duper special boy, who's the most specialist boy on Earth with the special cheat power that allows him to be special and do things. And what I'm wondering, like the question that's on my mind about this show now is, how incel-brained is this going to be? Like, is this going to be purely like a catharsis revenge show about, like, some low-life nobody who nobody cares about, like, rising up and proving them all wrong and sticking it to the man and, like, getting all the bitches and so forth? Like, is it going to be that? Or is it going to be interested in sort of diving into the psychology and, like, the structural mechanisms of injustice in some way? And I'm not asking for, like, a fucking, like, post-Marxist treatise on, like... restorative versus retributive justice or anything, but I'm looking at, is the show gonna be conscious and self-aware of what it's doing, or is it just gonna be like indulgent? Is it just gonna be like, here's some fucking catharsis for all the fucking misery that the world lays on you? That's what I'm curious to see. So anyway, if you haven't been along to one of these watch-alongs before, what you can see in the background is there's a frame from the anime in the background, and the way it works is that when I pause and unpause, it swaps from a still frame of the anime to this little key art of the thing. And that allows me to put something up on screen so you can see where I am when I'm talking, but all without getting assassinated by copyright lawyers. So that's nice. And the way this works is the timer in the upper left screen tells you where I am in the episode. I am going to set the timer all the way back to 00000. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, play. We're both going to play, and we're going to watch the episode together, and I'm going to sit here and be your annoying dad, I guess, sitting on the couch next to you being like, oh, that's a cool show you're watching there, son. Let me have a look at them there animes you love so much. Commenting and just generally having opinions about stuff that's happening. And every once in a while, when I have opinions about stuff that will take a second to get through, I'll say 3, 2, 1, pause, and we'll both pause at the same time. I will say the stuff I want to say, and then I'll say 3, 2, 1, unpause, and then we'll both unpause together. We'll sort of try and stay in sync using these tools, like the frame on screen and the timer and the instructions to pause and unpause. In that way, hopefully, we should be able to just to stay more or less at the same spot in the episode, and you get to enjoy my commentary, I hope. So, with intros out of the way, 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, okay, yeah, no, he's not doing so hot. That is a strong, iconic visual, though. Like, the circular... Ooh, good animation on that sword swing. Hey, you lived. Still lost a foot, though? Oh, no, you got it. Cool. Ah, man, it would have been nice if he had lost, like, 1 foot. And he'd need, like, a cool magic prosthetic or something. Okay. So the structure of this episode is setting up like mystery at the start, like how did he get back to where the thing of the thing, what actually happened. And I guess the episode will be structured around like some flashbacks slowly introducing us to what happened through the medium of like him having a interrogation conversation with those two dudes, I suppose. One thing I've been talking about, by the way, in my Dungeon Meshi review, and the thing I really like about Dungeon Meshi is it has such a fantastic sense of solidity and three-dimensionality to its animation. Solo leveling does not have that. And that is, it seems to be entirely intentional that solo leveling is operating on a much more flat, stylized movement aesthetic. Which supports like that kind of like high-speed anime battling quite well. The OP also seems to be hinting at the idea that like we're gonna see Jinwoo's dark side, that he's gonna turn evil in some way or another. Which is the thing. I'm interested in how incel-brained this is gonna be. Like if it's they're also gonna need some therapy. Yeah. Jeez. Surely she can make a living as a doctor, you know. Oh, no, that's suspicious. Wait, hang on, hold on. 3, 2, 1, pause. Hang on. Wait a minute. Hang on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The premise of the show. The premise of the show. You made a big deal out of this in the first 2 episodes. The premise of the show is no, you can't. The premise of the show is no, you can't do that. There is no way. Like, okay, that. The premise of the show is that such a thing, like, as I understood it anyway, is that your hunter's ability is fixed, and the whole special bit about our protagonist is that he's going to be the only guy who can actually grind and level. But I guess not. I guess just randomly, so there can be, hey, here's extra rank up, so everyone can level up. Well, then he's not special. What the hell? Okay, like this is not a criticism of the show necessarily. Maybe like depends how it handles it, but it's like, oh, okay, that kind of overturns the whole thematic grounding of what I thought the show was going to be. Okay, sure, let's see where they go with this. 3, 2, 1, unpause. Okay, so that's going to show no change whatsoever. His power level is 10. Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level? That's the kind of pop-up you click yes to. Okay, okay. Do you want to look at your sister? Okay, so we're not delving too deep into the profound trauma of what just happened to him. Oh, it's the workup from One Punch Man. .3D animated car, a nice looking one though. Okay, so why are we focusing on the big shot? Nice little touch that he was like dragging his hand along the desk there. And you're about to be in pain, buddy. Wait, is the penalty that gates show up? Or just that he gets turbo murdered? Turbo murdered. Turbo murder. I mean, that's one way to motivate someone to work out. Yo, bro, have you done your CrossFit reps yet? Okay, not turbo murdered. He's gonna just barely survive. Yeah, you would probably vomit after that. That's funny. That is very funny. Just missed him, lady. Okay, 3, 2, 1, pause. So the game mechanic thing, right? In isekai as a framework, right? Like video game mechanics are so often imported into isekai like as like two functions. First of all, it's a narrative mechanical framework that a lot of the audience inherently understands, right? Like we all play video games, probably too much, and concepts like quest rewards, MMO rewards, concepts like grinding, like stats, all of that, that's a very sort of familiar framework for a lot of people through which we can understand, oh, okay, our protagonist is getting stronger, our protagonist is achieving things, are moving forwards and all that. And so it's like, it's a very efficient way to communicate these things. On a narrative level, though, it is often, it's like, in a lot of isekai, the whole game system thing that they've got going on, like, oh, this is the skill system where you can pick up skills, that like it's all often very, very weak, and like really just like a series of excuses for the protagonist, like for people just to have abilities, and we don't need to explain like where or how they got them, right? Like it's like, oh, you can do ultra mega super duper fireball because you picked up the skill that lets you do that thing, rather than like the show doesn't have to engage with any sort of complex mechanics of how does magic actually work in this world, or how do they, so it's on your stat sheet so you can just do it, right? But narratively, it also tends to be something that's like very deeply underexplored. Like you have these worlds, these isekai worlds that operate on video game logic, except they don't, Really. Like, the video game logic only comes up whenever the story wants to justify someone doing some video game bullshit. But other than that, it's like, it's something that just doesn't really enter into the world building or the construction of how the world is put together. What I find interesting about solo leveling is that we have this video game system, but we only have one guy who's aware of it and conscious of it. Like, that's an interesting little reversal, is that it's not the whole world operating on video game logic. It's one guy whose cheat power essentially is video game logic, right? Like, that he can circumvent all the normal limitations of reality by gaming a stat system. And that is interesting, narratively speaking. Because, like, the whole where game systems comes into the power fantasy of isekai is that, as if you are a gamer, then you're used to navigating those systems. You're used to, like, you gain an intuitive sense over time of, like, optimizing these systems, of getting the most out of them, finding broken builds, exploiting glitches and loopholes and shit like that. Like messing with the game logic in order to get ahead or get past the difficult fight. Like, that's something that's kind of second nature. And so part of the power fantasy is, what if you could apply your ability to do that with a rigid game system where all of the rules are explainable, knowable, and manipulable? What if you could apply that to life? What if your ability to hyper exploit a video game system could give you actual real superpowers with which you could do broken video game stuff? Like, that's a big part of the power fantasy of a lot of isekai. The show here is casting Jinwoo as someone who doesn't understand games very well, like, who doesn't know enough about them to really like power game. And it seems like what's being set up here is we're going to go through with him as he, like, they're doing the audience POV thing with the main character doesn't understand the video game system as they learn it, as they ask questions about it, as they experiment. The audience gets to learn how it works as well, which is the kind of thing you would usually do if you're actually planning to make the video game system intricate or important or meaningful in some way, rather than just be a series of excuses for superpowers. So that's cool. I'm interested. I'm curious. 3, 2, 1, unpause. A random loot box. Oh my god. Hey, a key. See, that's cool that there's like a weather report for the gates. That's cool world building. I like that. Give us some yes, good insight into the mom relationship. Eternal sleep disease? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay, 3, 2, 1, pause. Random thing to pause on. But okay, so that's interesting. Specifically, the story is tying his mother's eternal sleep disease. It's like, what a fucking name for a thing. Tying her eternal sleep to sea specifically to exposure to mana, right? Like the exposure to, because again, that's the thing about like how much on a thematic level is this show actually engaging with like structural critiques, but it's literally that the living conditions of this world of hunters is making her sick just by living in it. She's becoming sick. She's becoming like fatally disabled essentially, which is okay. That's thematically interesting. That's an interesting idea. Because again, that would point to the idea that the show is like the story is making that deeper consideration about like, hey, you have this social condition that's like 1 in 7,000 maybe, but like that's literally just making people sick. And how much priority is there on trying to fix that structural problem? Like we have this globe spanning physical condition of the world that is slowly killing a subset of the entire population, and the majority of the world seems to just be concerned about how they can profit from it rather than doing anything. It's climate change. That sounds a little like climate change. Again, no idea how far the show is actually going to go with that, but as a detail, that's interesting. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, unpause. The thing is, the entire plot of this show would have been averted if they just had socialized healthcare. Right? It's like if healthcare was just free. You should probably put something into agility so you could dodge. And constitution so you can, you know, survive blows. You're a bit of a glass cannon right now, kiddo. It's like an S rank dungeon or something he's about to walk into. Are you about to like just open a gate out in the world? That would be very funny if he like opens a gate and causes panic. You have entered the instance dungeon. No running away now. Wait, you can't figure out game logic, but you intuit alternate dimensions? Oh, okay, you have a reason. Yeah, I don't know. I would probably have grinded a little bit more before I did something like this. But that again, that's the pleasure of the game logic isekai, right? Is you can think about like, this is how I would solve these problems. This is how I would do it. Do you have any healing items, buddy? Really should have put a point or two into that agility. Ooh, good animation, though. Like, doing a little four-way fight like that is, like, that's difficult to coordinate. Okay. Actually strike back at some point, though. Good hustle. But have you gotten stronger enough? Oh! Agility and constitution, buddy. Ah, he is traumatized. Good. Really should have brought a potion or something. Oh, there's going to be a bunch of them, aren't there? It has a pack. No? Just the one? Oh, come on! That's a weak-ass... That's a weak-ass cliffhanger. The better cliffhanger would be showing us, like, the moment when he beats it, and then cliffhanging. Oh well. Whatever. I am having fun, though. I am having fun with this show. Like, it gives me a lot of, like, I was like, a lot of curiosity about how it's going to handle certain things and how it's going to take, what direction it's going to go. So I am having fun with this. Like, I know I'm being nitpicky. I know I'm taking the piss out of the show and shit like that. That's not because of disdain. That's because this is how I enjoy it. Like, I have different ways of enjoying different things, and this show is... with all the blood and the gore and all the sort of underlying anger that seems to be in it, I sort of have to take a little bit of a kind of... That's kind of the vibe in which I enjoy a show like that. So that's the way we're going to do it. Okay. But I'm going to watch another episode. I sure am going to watch another episode. Because I do want to, like, I really do want to see how is the show going to reconcile all the things that it's set up? How's it going to bring all those threads together into something coherent, if at all? Like, is it even going to be able to do that? Because I don't know that I'd be able to. It's not an easy thing. So, guess let's find out. Yeah. Let's go watch episode 4. But first, thanks for watching this episode along with me. Bye.